Wait, not yet, wait.
You got, he's
gotta go over
he's
here.
gonna call you up.
Go to
and
the
then you're gonna come
microphone.
up to the microphone.
That's right, come to
All
the
right,
microphone now.
you're gonna get the meeting out first. Are already live.
No. Good evening. It's Wednesday, May 11th, 2022. Welcome to the Town of Carmel Town Board Work Session. I call this meeting to order. If everyone would please rise and face the flag. Our Eagle Scout candidate, Raven Blightsdale, is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just ask everyone to remain standing for a moment of silence, to remember those men and women who are fighting for our freedom, who provide us with the blanket of freedom that we live under each and every night.
Thank you, Raven. Oh, sorry. So if there are any residents here in the audience that would like to get up, comment on the agenda? Nope, okay. Oh, state your name.
Absolutely. Good evening. My name is Thomas Brand. I'm the, former project manager for Infomark. We've had a parting of the ways, I should say. They asked me no longer to serve them. I like to know that I've been with the community about 6 years. I serve the community well. I love the community. I'm 5 generations from Putnam, Mailback in particular. And I just want to let you know that I like this town. I love it. It's unfortunate that we've had a decision made by others. 24 hours a day. For the last 6 years, I've served the community well, in good standing. I work directly with Richard Franzetti on a daily basis. You can ask any department head in this town of my efficacy and ability to work for you. So I just want to share that with you. And really what I also want you to know is buy those compressors for Series 7 because it has to be on the agenda. And it's definitely way overdue. I told Richard in my absence, I know the town has huge projects underway right now. He needs to contact me, call me. It's a bad time for me to be stepping out, I believe, because there's so much on the table right now with the community. But I really didn't have a say in the matter. So with that being said, I appreciate your time. I appreciate the community, and I appreciate the town board. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, and thank you for your service.
Good luck. So one more time, anyone in the audience like to get up? Nope. All right, so you all have the minutes. They were emailed to us from the town clerk, Ann Spofford, from April 20th and May 4th, so please review those. Our first item is consider a request of reappointment to the Town of Carmel ECB, Environmental Conservation Board. Nick Fannin wrote us an email, or me and you an email. He says, I would sincerely appreciate your consideration regarding my interest in remaining as a board member on the Environmental Conservation Board for the Town of Carmel in the position of Vice Chairman. Over the past several years, I have continued to consider it an honor and privilege to serve the community in this capacity and hope my passion for environmental conservation, proper administration, and commitment to community growth serves as an adequate credentials. He says, thank you again, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions. Nick Fannin. I think he's done a good job on the board from what my limited time here. If anybody has any comments or...
I think he does a great job. He's very thorough. He's
Yeah,
very good.
Nick-
He's a good board member.
Nick
All right, so-
Nick is very good. He's on the side.
So if we get a resolution for that, please? Thank you. All right, the next item, Lake Cassie Park District Advisory Board. They want us to consider request to authorize the summer part-time wage rates. That's the lifeguards the gatekeepers for 2022. This is from Terry Kelly, a member of the advisory board. She says the pay rate for lifeguards will be $14 to $18 per hour, and the guard gate pay will be $13 to $18 an hour. And it says also, well, she's asking if there's a residency list for guard gate. So, does anybody have any questions or comments on Lake Cassie's rates?
No.
No?
All right, so we'll do a resolution for that too, sir. Thanks. Okay, number 3 is James Gilchrist, Director of Recreation and Parks. Consider request to authorize the build educational nature signage at Volts Park, Eagle Scout candidate Raven Blightsdale, Troop 371, Mahopac. Welcome.
Raven presented a project last week, it's their Eagle Scout project, to the Recreation Committee. It was approved last week at the Recreation Committee's meeting, and we're looking for you guys to approve it. It's an excellent project. This is Volts Park, up on the top where the cell tower is, overlooking Lake Mahopac. This project would enhance that park, which we've had other Eagle Scout projects up there, which is really putting the place on the map. People are using it daily. I could tell by when people call and they complain about the garbage in the turnaround, branches on the trails. So we do get the calls where we haven't gotten those in the past. So a lot of people are starting to use it, and they're caring for the trails up there, which is nice. So it's a great spot. So I have full confidence that the artwork on these signs will be done beautifully. I worked with your mother with the Pumpkin Fest for years down in the middle of Mahopac. She designed all the frumpkins back in the day, so if you can do anything like your mother can, I know you're going to do a dynamite job down there.
I can try.
Yeah, so I think this would be wonderful up there. Be very nice. And it'll give something, as people are walking along the trail, something to stop and look at, and it'll be, I think it'll be very interesting. So why don't you explain to the board what you're planning on doing up there?
Should I give them the package?
Sure, why don't you give it, I'll hand them out. Do you have a copy for yourself?
Well, we have them.
We have.
Thank you, Raven. Oh, enhancements.
That's the back. I added kind of like a test for one of the graphics of one of my signs, just to give you a taste of what it would look like and whatnot. They would have variations depending on which sign, but I just gave you all a general layout. So when I was looking at places that I could potentially do my Eagle Scout project, Volks Park stood out to me because when I went up there, I've never heard of it. I've been living in this town almost my entire life, and I'm an avid hiker and camper, so I was very surprised that there was a hiking spot that I've never been to, and when I went up there, it was just this really wonderful little place with like all these short little hikes to go on, and I just thought, when I was looking around, I heard this idea from Nina, and she suggested nature signs, and I was like, man, it is perfect for nature signs, because you would go up there, and since the walks are so short, they really would be in dire need of points of interest. So, and that's what the signage would do. You could walk along the hike, and it would elongate your hiking experience or walking experience, where you can go and read the signs and walk around and find the signs. I think it would also be able to appeal to local families, especially since when you have young children. I know this from personal experience, sometimes it can be a little bit boring when you're a toddler and your parents are like, time to go hiking, Raven. But I know I've always loved educational nature signs, and I would love to provide that to the families in our community.
I think the dads will really appreciate when they say, what kind of tree is that? And they
Right.
can look and go, oh, honey, it's a walnut. Yeah, that's great, Raven.
This is really nice. And Raven, the back one, so is that like the font and stuff that you planned on using, or?
This is a general layout, so I just wanted to be able to have the text largely displayed so people can easily read it. The sign is going to be a different shape than a standard piece of paper So this was just a visual reference to be, the picture is going to be about this size in relation to the title and the text. I might change it as I test out my engraving process to see what's most readable and visible.
It's really neat. I like it because it shows the acorns and everything. Very neat.
Yeah.
Mr. Supervisor, just to let you know that Mr. Barksdale is a fellow Eagle Scout himself. So
Impressive.
this would be a second generation. And I told her that I would ask this question, as I ask it of all Eagle Scout candidates who come before us. Where are you in time in terms of age? Do we have to push you to get this thing moving so you get it done before your 18th birthday?
Right now I am 17.
Okay.
I do turn 18 in January, but I plan on doing construction during the summer, so I have, without a doubt, that I'll finish my project this year.
Okay, great. Let's get this
Yeah.
done. Let's get it done. You don't want to miss
Yeah.
that. You don't want to be a life scout for life.
I did
Right.
join a little bit later just because girls were let in, I think when I was in 8th grade, so I've been really pushing to be able to get to this moment.
Okay.
Good for you.
And when you
Impressive.
decide to do any, are you going to fundraise for the cost of the project?
Yes, I am. I already have a date with Stop and Shop, and then also it was just suggested by Mr. Gilchrist that I should set up a stand at the Carmel booth in the market, which I think is a really wonderful idea, so I'll be looking into that as well.
Okay.
I-
Yeah, if you let us know when that is, we will, of course, advertise it for you. We will be there as well.
Thank you, I
Okay.
definitely will. The one I already scheduled at Stop and Shop is going to be on June 11th, hopefully, if everything
Good.
goes according to plan with
Okay.
Eagle Scout Council approval.
All right, great.
When-
Keep us posted.
When do you think you'll begin the project?
I think I will begin the project as soon as possible, so that would include design and fundraising and everything that goes into the project on June 7th. My Eagle Scout Council review, I believe, is on June 6th, so if everything goes according to plan and I get my full approval, I would be ready to start on June 7th.
Excellent. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So item number 4 is, again, James Gilchrist, Director of Recreation and Parks. Consider request to accept proposal for the purchase and installation of wood guide rails at Airport Park.
Sure, so this is going to be the barrier between the parking lot and the athletic fields at the airport park. So what we did is we were able to purchase all the material. It took us about 8 months to get the 3x10s and the 8x8s and the bolts, believe it or not. It's trying to get everything has been a nightmare. So when we were trying to get prices from contractors, they couldn't get material. So what I decided to do is I purchased everything through the town. We have it on site, and this is just for labor to install it. So we were able to get 3 companies to give us a price for installation of this material. So this is what, the lowest price that we have is $18,600. This would go from, when you get into the airport park, from the fence on the right by the stadium field, and wrap all the way around and go all the way up to where the trail goes back to the lacrosse fields on the upper left of the park. And in front of the building, where we have the walkways, where we have the unilock, where the walkway dips, we have yellow, I think they call them bollards, or where they bolt it right into the unilock. So when we have to get any vehicles or anything in there, we can unbolt it and they can go through there, but they'll be set up there. So that's where most of the people will be walking in through that area, and then we'll have a couple breaks through the guide rail for people to get to the other fields and the playground area.
Great.
Jimmy, it doesn't, you don't need like any cement or anything?
No, that goes straight into the ground. Yep. So this, to give you guys an idea, this is the same style of a fence that you would see down at Putnam County Savings Bank. I don't know if you see around the back by the drive-through. So that's a 3x10 with the 8x8 posts. So it'll be set about this high off the ground. And all it is to keep cars from getting out onto the fields.
Yeah.
You know, people can walk over them. It's not designed to stop people, it's obviously to stop any vehicles from getting out into the fields. So once this is installed, we'll be able to open up those double gates, and that parking lot will be open to the public. So people want to go in and walk around the park, they'll be able to do that then. We just haven't been able to open it up until we get to this point.
Do we have a time frame for completion?
It's just scheduling with the contractor. This kind of a job might take a contractor maybe a week or two to get done, because there is a good amount of cutting of the posts on the top. They're all angle cuts. There is some fine work that's done. It's not just putting the posts in and walking away. There's a lot of leveling up and all that drilling, bolting them up. So it's going to take some time to get this in.
They have to notch the posts out also to insert the,
No,
Metal
they go
boards?
on, they bolt, they have to drill out and they go onto the post. And they're not notched out, no.
okay.
Jimmy, just to.
You can see the, if you look at the description on the right there, you have the cross cut of the picture. You see how it goes flush onto the post?
Okay.
But just to piggyback on what Frank is, as far as the timing, have you spoken to all three of these contractors to see if they're available? Like, if we get this stuff, because I know
Yes,
contractors
yeah,
are
no,
busy.
they all know that the material is on site, which is a bonus for them. They can't get other materials and other jobs. So for instance, we had a very difficult time trying to get some fencing around the generator and the air conditioning units. We finally got our last price a couple days ago. We met with the lowest bidder today, and he's starting on Tuesday.
Okay.
So that people are ready to go. It's just trying to get
Okay,
somebody
yeah,
with the
'cause I-
materials, but we have all the materials. I think this contractor, the lowest contractor is ready to go on this.
All right, that's what I want to make
Yeah.
sure, like, all of a sudden we award it to them and say, oh, I can't,
Well,
I'm busy
what happened
until
was
6
that
months from now.
we got the prices, but we haven't had I wasn't able to get this on a work session for a little while. So it takes, by the time you get things, it takes a little while to get it on, so.
I know this is pressure treated, but is it going to be finished with anything to help extend its life of the materials?
No, usually you just leave them, you can put something on. We were talking about putting some kind of a cap on top of the units, but once you cut these, yeah, we should put some kind of a preservative on them.
At least on the tops
Because
of
you
the
break
posts.
you break the seal of the chemical that's on there.
Right.
Well, that we can do our in-house.
Yes, yep.
Anybody else?
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
Okay.
So a resolution for that, too? Thank you.
All right, great.
Number 5 is, Richard Franzetti, PE, Town Engineer, consider request to authorize purchase and installation of MF air compressors at Carmel Sewer District Number 7. Rich?
Good evening, board members. So as Supervisor Kazari mentioned, this is for air compressors at Microfiltration Sewer District 7. Infomark, the operators of Sewer District 7, advised the department they need to replace dated and problematic air compressors at the microfiltration plant. Both units are worn beyond repair, and when they are in operation, they pass a significant amount of oil on a daily basis. The units provide pressurized airs to the CMF units during actuation of valves. And when they complete their air-intensive processes such as backwashing, alternating units, CIPs, maintenance washes, and running both CMFs simultaneously. One air compressor is currently out of service, the second is operational, but based on evaluation by a technician, both compressors have reached their life expectancy, and any further repair would only provide a short-term solution. We estimate the age of that unit is around 11 years old. The compressors were installed in 2011 based on reference serial numbers found on the nameplates, and the expected life expectancy is probably another 10 years. Infomark it also indicated that the air compressor system is only provided by a company called Ionico. The department therefore considers this particular manufacturer to be a sole source. There are two options with the quotes that were provided. We can purchase the units separately at a cost of $8,000. We run the risk of buying one now and waiting in the future, and maybe with the volatility of the way the market is, spending more money on it. And we've already increased labor and overtime costs to the district, which have exceeded the approximately $6K over the last 6 months. Option 2 is to purchase both units together at a cost of $17,850. The attached quote does provide a savings of $3,000 for if they buy both, they'll come over and install them both, but at the one price for installation, so you're not paying double installation if you buy them separately. There are insufficient funds in the operating budget for this request, as it was not included in the 2020 budget. A transfer from the funds from the unreserved balance to purchase both units, which is option 2, which is being recommended, which is the most cost-effective option. The controller will make that transfer upon authorization of the board. We get reimbursed, the town gets reimbursed 50% by the DEP for these units. So if we go with option 2 with the price of $14,600 with installation of $2,980, the total is $17,580, but when you get the reimbursement, it ends up costing the town $87.90 versus $5,500 for a single unit.
Rich, are these available? Are these units available?
Yes, they are. Once we have authorization, we'll put the order in, and they'll get them moving to get them down here and get them installed.
Anybody else?
Just a quick question, as far as equipment, and as far as this type of equipment, Infomark, do they do an inspection on this equipment? Would they have inspected it, say, last year? I'm just wondering why we wouldn't consider this and how to put it into the budget for this year, knowing that they're this old.
I'd have to double check. They should be inspecting the equipment, but they may not be inspecting the microfiltration per se. I'd have to just double check and get you an answer on that.
Yeah, in the future, if they could do so, I think it would be beneficial to the districts and also to, to the town to know what the life expectancy is on our equipment and try and, pre-plan for things to break instead of it, coming in for an emergency repair or something like that.
Right, so we're not calling this an emergency right now, so we're asking to purchase it. We have a functioning unit, one that's out of service. So they do inspect them, they get them repaired, but it's the point where you can only fix it so much where it doesn't work anymore.
Right.
That's why they're recommending to purchase it. So indirectly, they do, without me able to say, yeah, they inspect it on this kind of basis. They do, because it's been repaired a couple of times over the past 11 years, right? So, not that it's just been repaired, but they're looking at it, they understand how they're functioning, and they're getting the technicians in. Sometimes this stuff is beyond the capability of even some of the operators there. That's why they get a specialist in there to give it a better review, like the technician they have from the company.
Okay, good. Sounds like a good price for two.
Have they?
No, I was just confused with the oil and the, I'm sorry, I was just confused with the oil and not the oil ones. We're getting the oil compressors, right?
I have to look at that. The answer would be yes. But right now, we're doing oiling all
Because
the
the
time.
other ones were more expensive?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We're going with the cheaper one, but
We're
it'll last
doing the
longer. It'll
oil
last about the same.
injected, okay,
Just in layman's
not
terms,
the oil-free.
what do these
Not oil-free.
I'm sorry.
Okay, got it.
What do the compressors do? What are they used for?
They turn valves, they run actuators, they're part of the whole cleaning process.
Okay.
In layman's terms, it's kind of detailed out in the memo, but yes, it's basically they're used to operate parts of the microfiltration system. So the microfiltration system it's microfiltration. There are these tubes that they run, and they have to backwash them. The compressors help push the air and liquid back through to help with the cleaning, and then also to actuate valves to help move it. A little more detail, I guess, than you asked for, but.
Thank you. Makes sense.
So everybody's good with this?
Yes.
Yep. Thanks, Rich.
No
Thank you,
problem.
Rich. All right, so number 6, again, Richard Franzetti, PE Town Engineer. Consider request authorized submission of the draft annual MS4 report.
So I'm a little late in coming to you this year with this. I do apologize for that. I should have had this in front of you in March, but the draft annual report has been posted on the webpage since the beginning of the month. The town is an MS4 community. We're required to develop and submit an annual report for New York State DEC general permit for stormwater discharges of MS4s, which is what we are, GP 15003. There's a draft report that was attached to my memo. It has been placed on the webpage. Will be posted for comments at least 30 days prior to being made final. Excuse me. It is due on June 1st, Given the voting schedule in May, we respectfully request if there are no comments made to the draft, that the report be considered final, signed by the supervisor, submitted to the DEC in a timely fashion. A copy of the final document will be placed on the Town of Carmel webpage. That's all I got.
Anybody?
Nope, I'm good.
Thank you.
This is a regular one every year, just so you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next up,
Thank
we
you,
have Michael Simone. Highway Superintendent, consider request to authorize purchase from Highway Rehabilitation Corp., New York State OGS Contract Award 23250, Group 31555, Contract PC 69537, for in-place recycling for selected town roads. Sir?
Yes. Good evening, Board.
Mike,
I believe we came with this, to you with this before, and we looked at it under Putnam County bid, not realizing that the bid ended in April. So this company is coming in to take care of our roads. We've used them before. They do a great job. But they also bid on New York State OGS at the same contract amount, so no harm, no foul, and we'll go ahead with it. But hopefully Putnam County will rebid it and go on for a few years, so. Again, matter of fact, when I came into office, the prior highway superintendent was using these guys. We've used them since the 90s on. It's I believe, a better process than doing true and leveling and adding a lot of courses. You know, what they do is they go through and they heat the asphalt with propane to about 2,000 degrees, and it goes down to about 1.5 inches depth. Recycles it, adds an emulsion, puts it back down, true and level on a nice, and then they roll it out, so that now all I have to do is go on top of it with 1 inch on top of it, and we've got basically the same base without raising elevations, and we can fix our roads for a lot less than using a lot of material, so.
Especially now with the price.
Again, every day it goes, every day, unfortunately. I mean, the good news is that these guys will be in soon, and right after them, I'm gonna get some of my blacktop out, because as we all know, I think it's gonna continue to rise for a while, and I wanna get some of the blacktop work out and done before the price rises anymore, so.
Great.
good. Well with it?
Anybody?
Good, thanks, Mike.
All right, and then your next item, Mike Simone, Highway Superintendent, discussed the 2022 capital funding.
Yep, as I do every year, I come in and look for funding on both the capital drainage, capital paving, and capital equipment. I have reviewed this with the town controller. I know she's not around, but we are in agreement that probably the drainage and paving, we can do a bond on, or a ban, say, and figure out what kind of money we can use, and figure out where we stand within the general budget, because I believe there are monies available. We do have monies in the fund, so that we do not have to bond the capital equipment. But as you notice, it's a open-ended, because I'm asking for a number. And this is gonna be something I've never dealt with before, and probably the board or the attorney, because as it stands right now, I can't order a truck. They will not hold firm on a price. The next place in line I will be either the end of 2023 or 2024. With steel prices going, no one will hold a number. What I'm trying to do is anticipate a number up to, so that I can order these, because there isn't from what I'm told, there is not a manufacturer. First of all, they don't know what if you can't build the chassis for another 1.5 years, no one knows where steel's gonna be. I mean, it's a very tough place to be, because we've now got to extend the life of the trucks we do have. But let alone this year, from what I'm hearing, this could be a 5-year lag, because of, let alone the fact that we cannot get these trucks, but the pent-up demand out in, not only of municipalities, but of the, you know, the private industry, you know, commercial industry. Nobody's getting trucks right now. And this is gonna be something we're gonna have to look at going down the road. I have no answer for it. I was away this week up at Watkins Glen to the executive committee of the New York State Highway Superintendents, which I sit on. We had discussed this, and we had discussed it with vendors, and they're all, unfortunately, again, a vendor is a salesman, and they can't sell anything because they don't have the ability to sell, you know, whether it's a Mack truck, whether it's a a Ford, an International, anything. There's just, nothing's being produced right now, so.
Mike, let me just, if you're finished,
Yep, I am, just,
is the capital and draining projects that you want, is that in addition to any CHIPS money that?
yes, and to give you an idea, and this is kind of why I waited, and, I mean, CHIPS was good and bad. I mean, the good news is, our allotment this year is $500,082.45, which is nice. The good news is that we come out of Albany with a 5-year plan to get this for the next 5 years. We have not had a 5-year plan to continue, so we know we're gonna be getting this for 5 years straight. The bad news is that we, as highway superintendents, asked for almost, over those 5 years, another $2 billion, which we were told through the transportation committees and their chairman that they thought they had a deal, but when the budget wasn't passed and they went back in and they had special meetings, nobody got anything extra. So money sits there, but we don't know what's gonna happen with it, so.
So with regard to the paving, so how much is the extra, the CHIPS money that you're gonna put on top of these two, the draining and paving?
582,000. And I have a POP, what they call POP, which was a new program put out by the governor this year. They have not figured out how they're gonna fund it. Whether it's gonna be using the CHIPS formula, that's another $100 million. Whether they're using the CHIPS formula or they come up with their own formula. We're hearing that they're leading toward another formula so that they will give a little bit more to New York.
So
City,
basically,
not us.
with the
Kinda
CHIPS,
cuts us.
I'm sorry, with the CHIPS money for the draining and paving, we're gonna be at roughly 1.5 million?
Yes.
And how much will we be able to, first of all, can you get the materials to do it this year?
Materials, yes. I
Okay.
mean, I will tell you that we have stockpiled over 2,300 feet of pipe right now, which we have started. The weather is broken, so we've started doing our drainage project. I ordered 3,600 feet of pipe already, looking from anywhere for 4 to 6 weeks. I'm going to continue that almost on a monthly basis. I do anticipate getting a lot of drainage done this year. Blacktop is there and it's available. As you know, we have a plant in our town that
Right.
is operating. It's just cost. The longer we wait, the more it's going to cost, because there is a fuel adjustment charge on it. And as we know, fuel oil now is well over $6.40 a gallon. It's unheard of. It's an unheard of realm that nobody's heard of, but we're going to try to do as much as we can. If I can get anywhere between 7 and 10 miles is what I'm trying to reach for, so.
Okay. With regard to, now, I know every year that we've been here, we've always added new trucks on to get rid of the old ones, right? But what you're saying now is, we're not gonna be able to maybe order anything until the end of next year, is that correct?
We didn't get last year's trucks.
No, I agree.
I still haven't, I haven't received last
No,
year.
I understand.
Yeah, but, yeah, I mean, they're telling me that the manufacturer, just to take this, and this is something we have to discuss as a board and with the attorney. For me to get in line for a purchase order, to put myself into a position, they need a purchase order. But the purchase order, we don't know what the purchase number is gonna be. It kind of really throws a monkey wrench into everything, but
What's the truck usually go for? You got
the
it's
last
300
trucks
each.
we bought, were 262,000. So that's, if you notice, I put
Right.
the number, I kind of figured in inflation and everything, but
So Mike, then, for 2 new trucks.
Could be more.
Oh, okay. But, again, so you mean we have to put a purchase order in this year for potential late 23, 24?
Yeah.
To get a truck?
Yeah.
And with the purchase order, do we need to actually come up with money for it? The reason
I
I'm
don't know,
asking
but you
is,
have to pass a resolution for me to do it. It's.
do we have to allocate the money for it? That's what I'm
Right,
asking.
Yes. And you won't see it in next year's budget, so I'll be back again. So, I know we're at a top point where, and it's not anything to do with us. It's the manufacturer.
No, I totally
So-
get it. And I know that in the past, we've bonded the draining and the paving, but we've been able to purchase through what we've done.
Not all of
We've been able to, we purchased some of the
Yes, some
cash.
portion.
Right,
Right, a portion of the trucks.
yeah.
So, my question is, if we're not gonna get the truck till 2024, if we have to put a purchase order in, do we have to authorize and actually designate that money to be, yes, we do?
And then carry it over?
First you have to have the money budgeted one way or the other, whether it's coming out of your equipment line
Right.
in some portion, some proportion, and you're borrowing some, my guess
Yes,
is you'll need to
that-
borrow
that's
some of
what I-
that
yeah,
600.
That's what I understand.
And that's the first thing, put the money in place from the borrowing perspective if needed. And then when Mike comes up with a vendor, we'll have to deal with how to secure the vendor services without knowing the exact price. And that's tricky, but I have a couple ideas that we can discuss. When the time comes.
Yeah,
all right?
yeah, again.
But if you want 600,000 and you only have 300 in the line, and you only use 200 of it, then you got to authorize the borrowing for the
Right,
the
right.
difference. That's really the most important thing now.
Is that what we have 200,000 left in the
I pulled those
equipment?
completely.
Oh, what do we have in the,
Oh,
in the
in this,
equip-
no, we have more than enough to cover this.
to cover these two trucks?
Without bonding it.
Okay.
So this is, right, this is being out of a line. We have money to purchase this.
So we don't need, right, okay,
don't
so,
need to.
so it may just sit in our account?
Right.
Until,
Yeah, we don't pay for them.
no, I understand, do we have to
Yeah.
give a deposit with the purchase order? How do, you don't know?
But know that, and this is where
You're committed.
we need to get Greg involved, is that there could be price changes. And believe me, the manufacturers are not gonna eat steel price increases.
No,
So,
I
you know,
totally
which
understand.
Listen, we all understand what's going on, but as a municipality, there are rules set up for us to do things, and
Right,
we have to figure out how to work within them, so.
all right, I guess we'll have to delve into this a little bit more,
Yeah.
how we want to, how,
I mean, it's countrywide, it's not just here.
no, I
It's
understand.
all
And we can
over.
make do with the trucks, Mike, that we
Yeah.
can make do with the trucks that we have in light of the fact that we're not getting the ones that we had ordered last year.
Well, we will keep them going
We have
until
to.
they are unable to be deemed safe or get a
Right.
inspection sticker on them. Again, but every time you do that, there goes money into.
Oh, no, I understand.
I mean, it's quite a bit, to keep the
Right.
trucks up and running,
Maintenance and
the
everything.
maintenance on it,
Yeah.
the costs are going. And,
But we have
and,
no-
and the other side of it is that we're not getting parts like we used to either.
That's
So
what I'm saying.
maintenance,
Right.
sometimes they sit there, and I have a very funny thing that, my mechanics, because they'll come in and they'll get something and then find something else wrong and then be waiting for parts. And I have a plant in a flower, in a plant in a
Flower pot.
flower pot, and I put it on the truck, and I said, will this thing bloom, will it grow, what's going, when will this truck, I make a joke out of it, but
Yeah.
we don't know,
Yeah.
so.
All right.
So do you think the 600 is enough, or should it be 650?
Right now, I believe that the numbers, if you were to get them, were gonna be somewhere within 5 to 10,000 of last year's, but I don't know, no one knows where steel's going, no one knows where any of this stuff is going.
Yeah.
I think I have enough built in,
What do we have in the equipment line, Mike, for,
it moved quite a bit more than this.
okay.
From
So
talking
we'll
to
be,
Mary Ann,
all right,
we have plenty,
okay,
so.
Oh, perfect.
all right.
Great, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for the good news.
Yeah, thanks for the great news.
One of the things that we would generally do here is with respect to the paving and the drainage, whatever's being bonded, we'd
Yeah.
reach out to bond counsel so they could prepare the resolutions, the authorizing resolutions for that borrowing, even if it's not for the 18th, at least for
No,
the.
that's fine, because there is
meeting in
it's a
June.
45-day estoppel or whatever,
Yeah.
all that stuff. But I do have CHIPS money that is now, we got our CHIPS letter, it is out, so I
So
can
we-
start using
we can
and
start.
doing that. And again, I don't anticipate paving until school's out. I am gonna do some roads only because I do want to get the vendor in, he is ready, and I'm trying to take advantage of price, so there's gonna be a little interruption in bus runs, but think it's worth it right now to get it done, because
Bucks Hollow's already done.
that's what you call, that's a hot-in-place recycling, it's not paved. I still got to put an inch on top of it.
Oh, it looked good.
It looks good, doesn't it? It's very, that's what I'm saying. That process is a very good process. I believe in it. And again, we're reusing the material that's already down there and just adding an emulsion. And it almost looks like people say, well, you paved my road, thank you.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not done yet. They said, really? So it is,
That's great.
it's a good system.
And the comptroller will contact the bond?
Yeah, Mary Ann generally does.
Thank you.
But I'll coordinate with her. I know she's away, so.
No, she's back.
She back? Really? Okay. I'll coordinate with her.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
And over to you.
So comments-wise, I just have two items quick. First of all, we are partnering with the town of Kent. Supervisor McGlasson and myself are going to share this e-waste, drop-off e-waste. We're going to be doing it at their town hall on June 11th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It'll be for all Carmel residents, and someone had asked me, it's Mahopac Falls, Carmel Hamlet. You're all in the town of Carmel. That'll be again at the Kent Town Hall, 25 Sybil's Crossing. There's a flyer on our website that tells you the things you can and cannot bring. And then in September, we still have to pick a date that we'll do it here in our town, and the Kent residents will come and share with us. And the other thing is, if anybody drove by, you probably drove by Hill Street.
Red Mills.
Yeah, Red Mills,
Yep.
Red Mills Park, there's an art exhibit there. Carmel Recreation and Parks, they're holding an art exhibit. It starts May 14th through the end of October, and Saturday, the 14th, from 2 to 6, there's going to be a reception, and that's all that I have.
Okay, I just have one thing. There is the Mahopac Carmel Chamber of Commerce is hosting a annual Carmel Spring Fair in the Hamlet on Glenida Avenue between Fair Street and Vink Drive, June 4th, 2022, from 12 to 4. There'll be vendors, food, entertainment, and rides. So if anybody wants to reserve a vendor space, you can call the chamber office at 845-628-5553. We had a very successful one here in Mahopac downtown in October, and this one will be just as successful as well.
I am done. It's got to be about 500.
It's hot.
You said 12 o'clock, right?
12 to 4.
Put a certain time. Crappy River. It's hot here.
Bob, anything?
I have nothing, no.
Oh, Sue?
No, nothing.
Nothing here, Ron.
All right, so we are going to be adjourning from executive session. We have litigation update and acquisition of real property. So if I could get a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor to go?